Well, hello, I'm Bob Dendry, this is Boring Guy Plays, and welcome back to City Skylines 2, where we are building this wonderful city of Azure Delta. Now, I noticed when I was recording the intro there that we've got some funky traffic activity going on at this interchange. And I do want to do a bit further work around this motorway this episode. But first of all, I think we need to be looking at what's in demand, which is a lot of low density housing, a bit of medium density housing, and some commercial and industrial as well. So what I would really love to do is to utilize some of this sort of land around this new motorway for housing. Obviously, being close and convenient to transport is quite an important part of, choosing where to live. And I think this is a pretty nice area here. Let's pull out our contours and we can see we're on the side of a mountain. So maybe not quite the perfect area, but I am seeing a little bit of an area here, unfortunately quite close to, some landfill and some noxious uses, we might say. But I think we can definitely get in some usable housing in this area here. I have actually considered this trumpet interchange here, and I think we're probably actually going to replace it. What we can do with this sort of leftover stub type road is we could actually make it a bit of a collector, or maybe a lower grade arterial road, which could shoot through from our motorway and connect up to this highway here, sort of probably joining up more over here or so. Now, the problem with that is we don't have a lot of planning permits. If we have a look, we've got 3 available, which we could definitely get some, use here. And we could, in fact, probably do this, but we would sort of have a little bit of a problem with connecting it up. So maybe we won't quite get to that yet, but definitely we're not far away from our next milestone. So hopefully we can get there this episode and we can start to sort of develop this area here. Second thing I've noticed is that we do have a fair bit of traffic backing up on our motorway. Now, this was probably expected. This is, this whole CBD is a cul-de-sac. There's only one road in and out. Now, I did eventually want to connect up potentially this road here, Spring Street, with our main road over here to connect a second sort of entry point here, and also to reduce the sort of travel you might have if you were to over in this area here and need to go into the city. It wouldn't be a nice trip, that's for certain. So we'll be looking at that, but once again, planning permits really are the issue here. We don't have anywhere near enough to do everything that we want to do. Definitely are a couple of things that we can do right now, though. I'm looking at our port over here, and it does have the option of upgrading with a railway connection, which we can fit in here. So I'm actually going to get that in. And we should be able to connect that up reasonably easily to our existing railway track over here. And that will also allow us, I think, to bulk up some of the industrial in this area. Obviously, there is a lot of pressure on. Once again, it is a bit of a cul-de-sac. That seems to be a running theme in what I'm building. But definitely allowing, industrial to head into this port should somewhat lessen the demand and the sort of pressure on this road here. Hopefully, anyway. We might need to slightly rethink how we've set this all up, though, I think. Depends, I guess, how we're going to do it, but I think maybe we might need to take this single track connection back a little bit, just to allow us a little bit extra room to feed in. So I might just quickly pause. We'll fix that quick smart. And then, yeah, we'll need to get a double track section. And we can pretty much have that head sort of around the back of our farm and should fit under the road bridge as well. Yeah, perfect. That looks quite good, I think. And then, yeah, we can pretty much have that sneak around the back here. And hopefully we should have room to curve this around. Yeah, this actually needs to be a quite broad curve, and we do have some pylons here that we need to fight with as well, but I think we should be okay. If we might need to slightly relay some of this though. Other thing we could try to do is maybe if we can get a two-way train track, that might allow us to take it a little bit tighter potentially. And yes, it does. So we can actually make a connection there. Perfect. All right, so... Ooh, I don't know about that though, actually. We might try without manually changing the height, because that was not, not ideal. Yeah, it's still not fantastic, but I think it's a little bit better. So we do have now a rail connection to our port. We will need to, of course, set up some rail lines, as things aren't automatic like they were in the first game. And I do want to make this into a full sort of Y junction as well. And that should be pretty good. Might even, I don't know if this is something that'll work or not, but we might even be able to make a direct connection here as well. I don't know if that is realistic or makes sense, but it would stop if we have like a sort of a direct shuttle service, like a trip train or something from this terminal over to our harbour. It could connect up without having to foul the main line, I guess you could say. So we'll see if that'll work. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, I guess. But let's see. So we will need to set up a new cargo railway. Was there not one set up already? Maybe it was showing, and just because it's that awkward neutral color, I just didn't notice it. Maybe. Who knows? All right, so what we can do, actually, I don't know if this makes sense, but we're going to give it a go anyway. We might have our existing line come in, it can drop off at the terminal here, then head onto the harbour, and we can set up a new one that does like the opposite, comes from the opposite direction. I don't know. That doesn't make sense, does it? We could maybe just have it the one line. It comes in, stops here, stops at the harbour, and then leaves again. Or we could just have this running as a shuttle service, of course. Let's just try with the shuttle service right now, and we can work out, I guess, whether or not it's going to work or not. Let's get some different colours, though. These are quite awkward colours, aren't they? Okay, that should be a bit better. All right, so let's run with that and see what, you know, how that goes. I don't know. I just don't know at this point whether or not that'll work. How is our rail yard going in terms of the vehicles? It's like almost full as well. I don't think we can get any more trains in, so we might actually need to get another rail yard running. It looks okay at the moment, but I think if we go much harder or get, you know, another passenger line or anything, we might need another maintenance center. All right, so we're so close to having a small city, and I think I want to start to plan out some of the infrastructure for this new area we're going to build here. So I will get a couple of planning permits and get those purchased. So I think we want to probably actually just have, this whole area unlocked, which we will do. We'll get that purchased. And I think what I want to do with this road, we want to have like plenty of roundabouts and things, large roundabouts, because obviously there might be the temptation to use this as a bit of a rat run to sort of, speed through here rather than take the motorway. And we want to discourage that. We want nice, calm traffic flow. And I think part of that will be converting this trumpet, which I know I just built, into a bit of a sort of roundabout type interchange. So we'll start by doing that. We will pause, of course, while we once again break absolutely everything. I'm going to temporarily... Oh god, I stuffed that, didn't I? I'm going to temporarily take these back down to 2-lane roads just so while I sort of work out where everything is going to go. That needs fixing though. There we go. And yeah, we'll get a roundabout placed. We might need to build our road over the top. I just need to work out how this works, primarily. I assume this should be simple, but you just never know, right? I've not really used this tool before, the roundabout tool. So I'm hoping it's going to be, nice and simple. Yeah, I don't think it's quite going to work, so we might just need to make probably a park low, to be honest. And that should be manageable, I think. What do you mean slope too steep? A little bit ugly, this one. I might redo it a little bit. Okay. That's all right. It's not terrible. It's not the best. Now we just need to work out our lane mathematics, I guess you could say. Ooh, that's interesting. We can't set up a shorter segment. We might actually be able to if we sneakily relay this. Okay. And in the other direction, after we build this bit, of course. It's quite a long lane, isn't it? We'll need to do the same thing here as well. Okay. It seems to work, and we just need to fix up some of our road directions. So we want no right turn in both of these. And that should be good. And that should be pretty much all we need there. So we should be able to unpause again. Hopefully we will get to our next milestone like momentarily. So yeah, we'll be going with a large roundabout once again, as I said. Honestly, I really wouldn't call these large roundabouts. They, like, we've got some absolutely massive ones around where I live. There would be like at least twice the size of that. So it is what it is, I guess. Yeah, we'll set this up as a 4-lane divided road, I think. And we might as well upgrade a section of this to a 4-lane highway as well. Might set up a section going the other way as well, but this is just going to be a stub road for future development, I guess. And yeah, we should pretty much be able to, which of course we can't actually connect it right now, but we should pretty much be able to maybe do a bit of a curve and then back around or something like that. And we should be, yeah, good to start developing that. Whoa, as I'm talking, we've unlocked Big City, and that gives us 18 planning permits. So we can unlock that whole area, and yeah, we can get developing on this new design. And I think we can probably unlock this area here as well, which might also be good for development. But we'll just stick with these 7 squares right now. And probably actually this one as well, because I want to, I guess now that we're making this a more of a proper road rather than being a bit of a rat run highway, I do want to make this a 2-way junction, or a Y junction, I guess you could say, where you can go in any of the directions. So we'll get all of those purchased. Might make those changes after we've got our residential down though. Let's see. Let's get our contours on. Once again, we don't want to be cutting through our contours too much. Or at least not as, you know, dramatic an angle. We might need to do a bit of a switchback type movement potentially. I don't know, does that make sense? Probably not with a 4-lane road, does it? I think we're going to need to do something dramatic like that. But let's have a look at it. It's actually not too bad. I think we've got a pretty nice connection there. People may start to use it potentially, but I'm hoping we can keep this as much as possible for just sort of local type traffic through here. I don't like it. I'm okay with the twist, but it needs to be more, I think, gradual. Like this is fine. It's quite a bit better. And we'll probably have a few roundabouts that will interchange with our residential type uses. Once again, just to keep the traffic moving a little bit slower than it otherwise might. All right, so I'm going to try and plan this out pretty well, but you never quite know with me, do you? It might turn into something a bit ridiculous. So let's have a look though, if we get our landscaping tools out. But we want to try and, sort of similar to what we've done over here at Barlow Field, we want to try and level out a few sort of tiers to get our housing down on. And I'm liking sort of the major contours, I think, as where we do that. Maybe like every sort of second major contour we could set up a bit of a pad. And we can obviously smooth off the tiers as well. All right, I reckon that's pretty good. And we will sort of soften these cliffs off. It's just a little bit of cliff there, which I'm going to see if we can drag this out a little bit and get rid of that texture. Perfect. All right, so it looks pretty good. We've got a few tiny little bits of cliff texture sort of just poking out there, and I'm okay with that. I don't mind that too much. And I think we've got a good amount of land that we can get gridded up. Oh, missed some there actually. Okay, a little bit better. And we of course need to as well be paying attention to where we're actually building our entrances, because we want them to line up fairly well, I think. And probably large roundabouts. We'll go slightly smaller ones for these entry points. It's annoying as well that you can't have your contours on in this view. Maybe one about here or so. I think that's a nice number of connections here, so we're not cul-de-sacking in the community. Of course, this entire road is not great. It's a single point of failure, but we will, I think before too long, make some further, service level connections rather than people having to go onto motorways to move in and out. Yeah, I think we're going to have a couple of sort of collector type roads. They're not really going to be collectors because I don't think we quite have the demand in this road system for collectors, but they're just going to be sort of these high or slightly higher capacity roads that will feed into the communities, I think. Might even, I don't know if it makes sense to be doing this, but if we just have this sort of loop back around and then back out, and then the one in the middle will probably just terminate. Not too bad. I think we might try and get that on a better grade, I think. That made it slightly better, but not much better. All right, so yeah, we've got a nice, I think, amount of land that we can develop here, and we should have plenty of land for amenities and parklands and things like that as well. Yeah, pretty much we're going to be using 2-lane roads with the occasional asymmetric road for, road connections and things like that. I think we're going to try and keep this not particularly griddy. We might have some sections of grid, but obviously the terrain isn't uniform, so our roads probably we don't want to have those uniform either. Wonder if we could get a road under here at all. Doesn't look like. Oh god, no, we don't want to do that. No, bad idea. It might be potentially a future connection we could make as a sort of a local road connection over to the other side of our river. But right now, I think we don't really require it. I think we might set up a little grid in this section here. It's not going to be particularly big. I might actually use the grid tool for it. But yeah, it's just going to be sort of a few somewhat small sections of grid, I think. Like so. I've done something a bit weird here. I've reserved this space, which I think we can get like a high school or something on there. Just because I want to limit the number of 4-way interchanges. Of course, we probably do need to have the occasional one. But keeping these sort of T junctions, I think probably makes a bit more sense. And we might also try and remove a lot of traffic lights in these sections as well. And we've got our last tier, which is the one up here, which we might grid this out. We might actually make this high density because it's going to be closer to the motorway. So it's a bit, I guess, a bit more of a noxious use. And probably makes a bit more sense to do it like that, I guess. Is that a bridge? Do not want a bridge. Might even extend this all the way to 4-lane and maybe get a dedicated connection for our high density housing as well. Did not mean to press that button. And that just might make things a little bit happier, I would suggest. Small roundabout there. Maybe. Oh, I don't know. Probably would be better for it to be a junction, wouldn't it? Like here. I don't know. It's a bit of a weird connection. But I suppose having, this forced sort of slowdown isn't too bad, is it? Don't know why you've come in and then left again, though. That's a bit silly. I might also convert these 4-way junctions, any 4 ways, into roundabouts, at least on the main road anyway. And probably this one as well. And that should hopefully make this a little bit nicer to navigate. We do have quite a few people that are using this as the cut through that I was concerned they might use it as. But I suppose it does just give people an additional route as well, doesn't it? So not everyone needs to follow the motorway, which is, I suppose it's okay. It's giving people options. We do need to get our electrical service set up, I believe, because I don't think we have a connection here, do we? No. That's okay though. We can get a transformer in here and feed some high voltage lines over. Now, how do I connect this up? Do I need an additional station or what? Or do I just need to do that? Does that work? It looks stupid. Yeah, I don't know what the go is there, but hopefully that will connect up to this. Doesn't look like it's connected up, but it could be just because there's no demand in this area as of yet. Water pipes we will need as well, which I think we can just feed across here, can't we? We wanted both. Damn it. And it might be good to have some redundancy as well, I would suggest. Okay. So, we should now be able to start laying some buildings down. Might get a little bit of low density housing. And we can get a little bit of commercial as well, I would say. Madison Street here, I think we would like to get some low density commercial. This will be sort of the shopping center type node. And power, looks like we're connected. Yeah, okay, we've got power flowing now, so that is good. Did want to as well use some of our achievement points to unlock large sport parks. We could potentially get some telecom towers as well, which will allow us to, I think, increase the reach of the towers they're able to put down. It'll allow us to place less of those and have them serve more of an area. But I just want to see, what have we unlocked here now with large sport parks? Soccer fields. What was that? Oh, hang on. That's the soccer fields. Is that good? Yeah, actually, that fits quite well in that little space there. So I think that's a nice addition to the community. What else have we got? We got a community pool as well, which is definitely something that would be useful. So you might see if we can sneak that in over here as well. Might get a little bit of additional commercial here. And just continue to fill this out with low density residential. I just want to have a look and see, can we fit I think we can probably fit an elementary school and also a high school. Oh, wow. Okay, so we're not quite going to fit the high school in that section we'd sort of tried to keep safe for it, and that doesn't look good at all. Let's see. Is there anything we can do to fit that in a little bit better? Could put it on the motorway side, I suppose. No, we can't. So we might actually be a little bit stuck. Maybe we could fit it in there. Oh. Oh, hang on. Road required, but that's actually, I think, quite a decent fit there. We can maybe get an alley. Does that cover the requirements? Yes, it does. Okay, actually, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Of course, we're not really going to be able to extend it, or not with a field anyway, but that's probably okay. Definitely we'll get the elementary school in then, where we were planning the high school to be. Maybe? Or we could put it where we were going to put the high school and didn't because of the grossness of it. And we can maybe put a walking track up to the road or something like that. Overall, pretty good. I think as we've got demand for the medium density, we might get that in over here. Probably a mix of medium and high density, I would say. Maybe even a little bit of low rent housing as well. And that looks like that is taking care of that demand nice and handily as well. Just want to see if there's any smoothing we can do here. Looks like we probably not going to be able to make these look great. But I'm sure we can definitely hide some of this with some trees and stuff. I did want to, where possible, get a lot of trees sort of between these houses. And sort of have these areas as a bit of like nature reserve type areas. So, guess it makes sense. It would be great if we could plant trees in the middle of our roundabouts, though. That would be very cool, but unfortunately, we can't. Still quite a lot of demand for commercial, though, so we might continue to fill out some of these areas with a bit more commercial. We can probably get rid of the traffic lights here. We might just need to make some asymmetric roads. I probably don't even need them to be asymmetric, actually. Right, it can just be a 6-lane road. And then we should be able to get rid of the traffic lights. Obviously, there is a conflicting movement. Do we need protection? Look, ordinarily, I would say yes, we do. But because we cannot set up the light cycles properly, I think we will actually just get rid of them for the moment. Definitely once there's a proper traffic light tool that allows us to really set up custom phasing, obviously I'll be all in for getting that set up, but there isn't at the moment. And I think just for the sanity of our residents and the sanity of me personally, I would love to, just get this traffic flowing. All right, and I need to fix this interchange, as I mentioned. It's not really flowing well, and I do want it to be a full Y interchange. So I think what we might do is purchase one more square. And I think we want to try and have this come in as a proper sort of T 90-degree connection. I don't think that is really working. We will leave it flowing for the moment. Of course, that's just to keep things going while we build our new replacement interchange, and then we will do the switch over and get it happening. I'm just trying to remember how to do things. Trumpet. Yes. Trumpet is probably a good choice for this area here. Is this the right distance? Yeah, 3 meters. Could even up it to 4 lane. No. Single lane is fine. Alrighty. That is functional, or should be functional. And just upgrade some sections. Now that should be nice. I'm going to redo this one though. Bit better. All right, now all we need to do is make the connections and it should be good. I'm going in the wrong direction, actually. So we should be able to just cut this off. Actually, we'll slightly redo that. Switch. And that should now be functioning. And we should be able to sever this connection, and that should now function as well. Alrighty, I think I'm actually just going to leave. I'm going to fix that actually, but I think I'm going to leave the leftover highway there, just as a bit of an Easter egg, I guess. There are, I guess, abandoned bits of highway that don't get removed. Probably along the line, if we're going to use this area, we might remove them. But I think right now, we don't have any real need to remove that. But it does look like pretty much instantly our traffic flow has, improved quite a bit. So that's good to see. We've got a problem here, and it's because there is a node right there. So I'm wondering if we can fix that by just relaying that. Is that a highway? I think it's a highway road at the moment. So can we just make a direct connection there? It looks like it may still be 2 segments, but it looks like the node is a little bit further away from the junction. So hopefully that should make it a little bit better. I'm actually considering maybe have this entire section as 3-lane. Then we don't have to have this weird movement where we go 3 lanes, then 4 lanes, then break off. It's a fairly short segment, and it should hopefully, and I say this once again, bearing in mind that adding lanes is not a solution to structural problems, and we do have structural problems here. Because this is a cul-de-sac, and we're well aware of that, but it might be a temporary fix. I think we've definitely got some additional community services we need to add in here, though. We can absolutely get a medical clinic, probably on Park Street, which we have zoned for residential, but none has developed yet. So that's probably a good chance we've got to snaffle some of that. In terms of our fire coverage, it looks like we're actually okay at the moment. And police, it looks like it's actually getting adequate coverage already. I'm not sure where those cars are coming from, though. Over here, will definitely look like we need some, actually. So we might just have a bit of a side trip over here to add some police coverage in over there. And that should help over in our new suburb as well. Lastly, I think it would be good to get some sound barriers in, I think. And this will help the residents of this new section. Currently, we can't get sound barriers on that section because it's raised. That is very unfortunate. We might need to see about fixing that. I think we need to set up a district for this housing estate, and I think we'll probably just have everything, between Highland Street and our motorway as one suburb. And of course, once we develop on the other side, we can maybe have that as a separate district or separate suburb. Question is, what do we call this? I think I would like to name sort of a few suburbs around this area around... I think I would like to theme the naming of some suburbs in this sort of area here around Australian animals. So, I think what we might call this... we'll stick with terrace. That's all right, I think. That's not too bad. But we will call this Quokka Terrace. Quokka being a lovely Australian animal off the coast of WA that loves to have a cuddle, loves to have a selfie, things like that. Next, I think we need to consider public transport for this suburb. Now, ideally, we would have a train coming out here, and that would sort of support, growth along this corridor, probably all the way out to, over here. We could definitely have some train usage, but I don't want to skirt along the motorway. I would like to go straight through. That'll allow, intermediate stations in this area once we get to building that up, but we're not there yet. I don't want to purchase those permits quite yet. So what we'll do instead, the government basically is going to fund a busway connection from Quokka Terrace to, the CBD of Azure Delta. So we've got a few of these in Sydney. They're called T-ways, I believe. And yeah, they're just sort of a, dedicated public transport road, which I'm okay with. I think it's pretty cool. The question is, where would it connect up in the CBD? And we might need to have it do something a bit weird, maybe join up over here or something like that, because we definitely do not want it to be adding to the absolutely terrible congestion we've got in this area. I think, yeah, over here makes sense. So we could have it come in. Ooh, hang on. We want curved roads. We could have it come in and sort of skirt around our rail line, or not skirt around it, but sort of run parallel to it. Somewhat parallel. Pass under our rail line? Maybe? We could do it. We'll need to go down a bit earlier though, I think. And then yeah, it's going to run sort of between the rail line and our motorway. And pretty much all the way over to Quokka Terrace. Join up to our roundabout over here. Does that make sense? I think it's okay. It's not the worst idea. That's very bright. I would expect that to be more of a sort of a dark red than a bloody terrible. Not great, is it? Oh well, is what it is. So yeah, I think from there we will set up to... I'm starting to get a few little slowdowns happening, which is a little bit concerning. Yeah, so we'll get... So hopefully that's okay. But yeah, I'm going to get two bus routes set up. One is going to go into the city, and the other one will go probably over to Palmer Square. I might have it terminate at our current main train station. Alright, so we'll get our line to the CBD set up first. So it's going to begin over here. It'll stop via our primary school and the high school, by our sort of built up area, and from there, yeah, it's going to run express. Stop by our education hub in Blackbird Square, and then we'll terminate the train station, and I just realized I need to add stops on the other side of the road, so bear with me.
A little later.
All right, as we were. All right, that is bus line 1 set up. And it's now time to set up the second one. We might actually need to get an additional bus depot or another bus garage. Anyway. All right, there we go. We've got our 2 bus lines set up. We're actually starting to see a lot more residential developing. Potentially, you know, the new public transport connectivity has got people keen to move into the area. I don't know. Looks like our bus depot is surviving at the moment, but we probably do need to consider... Oh, no, never mind. We need another... Oh, it doesn't look like we actually can fit another garage anywhere, so we may need to set up an additional depot then. Which is okay. We've got space in this industrial area that probably makes sense to set up as a bus depot. So we might see where we can sneak one in over here. Potentially over here. Let's see, what does that look like? That looks all right. And I believe we can set up our bus routes to... No, we can't choose a different depot. Well, hopefully it... Yeah, okay. So they've just automatically started sending them out anyway. So that is good. And finally... Look at how much coverage we've got with the new telecom tower we unlocked. They're very expensive. They're $1 million each. But it covers... Oh, look at this. It's massive. So, might need to get one of those in. And that should hopefully make the people in this area a bit happier as well. Death care looks like it might be an issue as well, but I'm sure we can squeeze crematorium in somewhere. Lovely. But yeah, I'm really happy with this new residential area we've been able to build up in this episode, and I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you get a ding to your device the next time I post a video. You can find links to my social media in the description, so please jump on there, like, follow, subscribe, do all that wonderful stuff. A big shout out to my Founders Club patron, Caleb. Caleb, thank you so much for helping to make this content possible. If you want to help out, you can do so over on patreon.com/BobDendry by joining as a member on YouTube, or by giving a super thanks to this video if you just want to give a thumbs up to this specific piece of content. But until next time, I'm Bob Dendry. This is City Skylines 2. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.